The practice we're going to explore for this week is the practice of womb massage. And this is something that exists in a lot of different ancient cultures. Also, modernly, there are even professionals who offer massages like this. And it's really beautiful, this practice, because we can actually do this for ourselves. And of course, as we've been speaking about, you can really see also at the physical level that different tensions or areas that are a bit more numb or contracted in the area of the womb and the abdomen, that this can be points where we can say that we are maybe storing or holding some things that are on the more subtle levels connected to the womb space. So whether that be some psychological or emotional elements, something that's like stuck in dense energies that have been reflected into the physical level to become these kind of tense or dense areas even in the tissues. And so with the process of womb massage, it's something very healing we can do for ourselves, because we're not only releasing tension at the physical level, but because all of our bodies are connected, when we release from the physical level, it's actually a more subtle release that is happening with the energies, emotions, and the psychic field as well. So when we talk about healing the womb to remove these different layers that we might have stored there, then this womb massage can be something very beautiful and therapeutic from the physical into the subtle level. So to do this womb massage, it can be very nice to begin where we are simply having some moments to meditate, to connect with our womb and to connect the heart to the womb and to really come into presence, and to really allow that to be the background of this entire practice, that we keep coming back to presence, we keep coming back to presence. And actually, just like we could say this is kind of like a meditative practice, then I would even say we can approach this practice in a ritualistic way, where we really treat it as something sacred. We are returning to that sacred womb temple and bringing that love, that care, that compassion. And if you want, you can even light candles, and definitely make sure you have private space for this massage, and really also have everything that you think that you need before you begin. I recommend to use some oil, some natural oil that's good for the skin, maybe a natural sweet almond oil or sesame oil or coconut oil, and that can really support the movement of the hands during the massage. So have your oil nearby and make sure that you have a private space, make sure you have everything that you need to kind of be cozy and relaxed. And there are different phases of this massage. So like I said, we just start with some moment of presence, of coming to connect with the heart and the womb. And then when we feel ready to begin the massage is always going to be done in a clockwise direction. And if you're massaging on your own abdomen, the clockwise direction would be that on the right side of the abdomen, you are moving the hands up, and on the left side of the abdomen, you are moving the hands down. So that is the clockwise direction. And for the whole massage, we do all of the parts of it in the clockwise way, except something a little bit different at the very end that I'll explain when we get there. But it's because this is from the physical level, this is the movement of the digestion. So we want to honor that and support the digestive system in this way, in the intestines. So first we start with a massage where we are massaging the abdominal and womb area, and we are starting the first phase with these small kind of micro massages that move around the abdomen area. So the actual massage will be that we use the first 2 fingers, or maybe even also the ring finger. So the first 2 or 3 fingers, see what feels good for your body. And throughout the whole massage, you'll always apply pressure in a Goldilocks way. So not too strong that pain or discomfort is created, but it also needs to be enough pressure that you can get below the more surface layers of the muscles and the tissues to actually get the the organs and the womb and the ovaries underneath. So, like I said, this is an entire abdominal massage that also includes the womb. So the navel, the belly button, is really like the central point of the massage. So you massage on the bare skin, you have some oil, and for the first part of the massage, we're going to be doing a big spiral from the navel outward, slowly, 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 and it will end at the bottom of the ribs and just above the hip bones and the pubic bone. And we start just below the navel, and we go about a few centimeters or about an inch below the navel, and we press in there with the Goldilocks pressure, and we do 3 tiny circles also in a clockwise direction. And then we move a little bit. So we're doing the bigger spiral. We move a little bit to the right and up, do 3 more circles, move a little bit more in that clockwise direction around the navel, still about a few centimeters or an inch away from the navel. And you continue all the way around in that way until you get back to the first point about a few centimeters or an inch below the navel. And then you move another few centimeters or an inch lower than that. And then you do the exact same thing, 3 tiny circles and moving about the same distance all the way around the navel in the clockwise direction. And then again, when you get back to the starting point below the navel, you move another inch or a few centimeters down and keep going with the 3 tiny circles, moving all the way around. And you keep doing this, spiraling slowly outward, outward, outward until you get to this last spiral where you're all the way below the ribs, doing the 3 tiny circles. And then again, when you get to the finishing point, below the navel, but now you're far below the navel, above the pubic bone, then you reverse the direction of the moving from the big spiral back, spiraling towards the navel. But again, you keep doing it in a clockwise direction. So again, you're doing the 3 tiny circles all the way around, clockwise. And then when you get back to the bottom, you move a bit up towards the navel, go around again, move a bit up towards the navel, go around again, etc., until you're back below the navel. So this is the first part of the massage. And the second part of the massage is to do the exact same movement, except instead of doing these 3 tiny circles, you're going to do one continuous applied pressure in a smooth way from just below the navel, around the navel, and then an inch lower, around, and then coming back below the navel, an inch lower, and then around. So it's the exact same movement where you spiral slowly outward, but instead of doing the 3 tiny circles, it's a continuous movement. And this is also why it's so helpful to use the oil, because this really helps with the smooth movement along the skin. And then again, just like before, you draw that spiral back in, you shrink it back in, again, still in a clockwise direction until you come back towards the navel. And then the third and final part of the massage is to do an ovary massage. So to find your ovaries, if you stick your thumbs together and put them at the level of your belly button and bring your first 2 fingers together in this downward triangle, where your baby fingers are is roughly where your ovaries are. So you're going to massage in that area, again, finding that Goldilocks pressure. And again, you'll use the exact same finger technique for the massage. And after you've connected with the ovaries for a few moments, then you'll start with the left ovary first, and you'll massage. So this is where the direction is a little bit different for this third part. So first you massage up on the inside towards the womb, and then down on the outside that is away from the womb. So up on the inside, down on the outside, and you do 33 of those little massages over the left ovary. Once you've got to 33, you then reverse direction. And then once that's complete, you move to the right ovary and you do the exact same thing. You move the the circle first up on the inside and down on the outside. So up on the side of the womb, down on the side away from the womb, 33 times. And then you reverse again 33 times. And so after that is complete, you'll want to then move some of the energy that's been generated in the area of the ovaries and the womb to connect it with the heart. So you can just do some movements along the ovary area like this. You're circling, and then you inhale and draw the energy up to your heart and relax. And then again, you can do this a few times to move that creative energy and integrate it into the heart space. And then you end with some moments of gratitude and stillness. So this is the entire massage, and there will be an audio for you to follow. So don't worry about remembering all of these different phases, because you can follow the guided audio. But I want to say a few important extra elements. The first is that while you're doing the massage, again, some emotions, some energies might release, and just allow that to happen. And I would recommend to work with your breath to breathe into any tense areas that you feel to help move any stuck or stagnant energies. If you feel some emotion come, allow the emotion to be there. Cry if you need to. Breathe out and sigh if you need to, sound if you need to, move if you need to. All of these things can help to move and shift any stagnant or stuck energies. And if you feel any particularly sore or particularly tense areas, you can stop there and just give a little bit of extra love or care to that spot if needed. So, as I said from the beginning, something really important about this is just to stay in the background of presence, to keep connected also to the heart while you're practicing with the womb, to really move at a rhythm that is compassionate. You don't need to rush. If you want to stop at any point, that's also okay. And just really listen to your body and allow those natural movements with the breath and the body to be integrated if that helps to shift and move things. And yes, to keep this loving connection with yourself. And so, like I said, you can listen to the audio to allow yourself to be guided. And I would recommend to practice this at least once this week and to give yourself time around the massage, because some things might shift and move. So give some integration time afterwards. Don't immediately go into something else, but allow yourself to really have maybe a bit of a shavasana at the end, or to rest and relax for a bit of time to really give space and honor that integration. So this is about the womb massage, and I hope you enjoy and get some insight from this practice this week, and lots of blessings for this connection, this massage time. And like I said, treat it as something sacred, like a ritual for coming back to the womb, coming back to yourself.